All right, so let's take a look at this. It's nearing completion. So the guys are wrapping it up now. They're going to continue to coat this until the end of the day and draw it out thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and more beautiful and more beautiful. But the lockdown encapsulation of the 3 layers of peeling deck paint that was here has turned out just perfect. Just as I do. So here's this gorgeous, beautiful, we call this color Northwest Red. And what a transformation. You know, Kong armor, it is unbelievable at taking care of peeling paint without all the high labor and high cost preparations that are needed within residential deck paints and stains. Any other coating system that would have been applied here, we would have been talking about coming in and doing days of sanding or trying to do sandblasting or media blasting or something of that sort, right? In this situation, we don't have to do that because we came in with the lifetime deck armor system, the thick build, the ultra tough, the industrial grade, right? It's specified exactly for this situation. Its whole design is to encapsulate and lock down peeling deck paints. And boy, it has done just an unbelievable job of taking care of this here. Now you got to remember, there were 3 layers of peeling paint here. A stain, well, it was like a semi-transparent stain, some type of cheap thin deck paint, and there was also deckover here. And just look at this. Kong toyed with all of that and encapsulated it like it was nothing. Look, true water lock. So when we talk about true water lock capabilities, every single fastener, look, you can see the indentations of them, but every single fastener entry hole is covered over, right? So water cannot get into this floor anymore from the top side from precipitation whatsoever. That does 2 very important things. Number 1, it cuts down on what we call water getting to the fasteners, the screws and the nails and causing rust and then causing board rot, right? And it also cuts down on the expansion and contraction of these planks over time that ends up busting them open and causing them to crack all over the place. It stops that because it stops the moisture entry. The moisture is what causes these planks to expand. The sun comes in and dries them out and they contract, right? And it keeps doing that, right? But when we put industrial grade elastomer over decks, it dramatically water locks them and slows down that expansion and contraction process tremendously, extending the life of old weathered decks like this really indefinitely, as long as the customer is willing to do once annual washing and just a little tiny bit of maintenance, right? Now, UV block technology, we come in, we put the world's best UV deflectors in throughout the film of Kong armor. Tiny little microscopic mirror-like particles that deflect 90 to 95% of the UV rays that come down and hit this deck. They get shot right back up into the atmosphere where they belong. Splinter lock technology. This is just a really high build film, as you can see here, that has everything encapsulated. Not only the peeling paint, but also any areas where you could get a splinter or some type of puncture injury. It's really hard for you to run your hand across the Kong armor deck system and pick up a splinter. So we talk about that splinter lock technology. This is just beautiful. This just turned out just absolutely amazing for these customers. This is exactly what I wanted for them. And again, remember, this is going to get even more beautiful because the guys are going to continue building this out throughout the day. I think they're going to roll it out again. They're on lunch. This is all dried up. I need to get off of it. All their restoration was performed for them as well. The deck got fully restored before we coated it. That's a powerful service, right? All these down through here, all the deck posts, they're just beautiful. The good thing about Kong Armor, our deck posts, they finish almost like composite. I mean, really they do. We come in, and particularly on this deck here, we shot in about $300 to $400 of the world's toughest deck post crack filler. It's called silverback epoxy, and we just inject it into the large deck post cracks. For example, here's one. If you get up close on it, you can see it where we've injected in there. Okay, you see that silverback epoxy? You can beat on that with a hammer and chisel, whatever you want. It's mean stuff that can resist up to 7,000 to 10,000 psi of movement. It'll actually hold those deck post cracks closed, and that locks out water, and it also gives us this really beautiful appearance. You zoom out, you don't see that imperfection, right? It's only when you get right up close on it. Let's look from this side. It's sunny over here. You can see how beautiful those deck posts finished, right? You come out here, the guys on the outside. So we promise customers will get about 80% of the fastener entry points on their verticals. On this deck system, if you look, so there's the nail holes. We've got probably, I'm gonna say 100% of them covered over. It's maybe 98% of them covered. It's true water lock. You're talking about our encapsulation process here at Kong Armor, the lifetime deck armor. What we do is we press into cracks, we press into the nail and the screw heads, the holes, little hole that's left after a nail gets inserted into the wood. We press into that to fill them all in while we're coating. Once they're filled in, then we start layering over top of that, and it puts this nice big thick layer of coating over top of all your water entry points on your deck, right? That's what we've done there on the outside of that deck. I'll show you guys. Look how beautiful. The outside, you might be able to find one fastener entry point or something that we didn't cover accidentally. The floor in there, the floor has 100% true water lock. Just stunningly gorgeous. The industrial grade Kong Armor, the thick build, the ultra tough. It's just, it still blows me away to this day how unbelievably awesome a deck resurfacing coating Kong Armor is. And I see homeowner after homeowner run to thin residential deck paints and stains when they have Kong Armor right here at their grass. Every homeowner here in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, Southeast Indiana has access to Kong Armor, the lifetime deck armor system. Has access to where we can do this for you, save your deck system, give you lifetime limited warranty, give you lifetime service promise, so you guys don't ever have to go through this completely again. And it just blows me away. Every year I lose the ability to help so many people because somebody else gets to them before I do. I can't reach everybody, right? Look how gorgeous it's done. Kong Armor has paid for itself here for these customers via rescuing their deck from extremely weathered wood and peeling deck paint. Okay, paid for itself, plus provided the customer savings, huge savings. You can get the right here, kongarmor.com. All you got to do is go to that website. At the top of the page, there's a little button that says get free quote. Click that. We'll come out, we'll talk to you. Doesn't matter if you have peeling deck paint. Doesn't matter if you have disintegrating flaking stain. Doesn't matter if you have rotten deck boards, steps that are falling apart, rotten joists, any of that type of stuff. We can bring your deck roaring back to life with our simple crew style restoration and world's toughest deck armor. I'm Anthony Ford from Hebron, Kentucky. Kong Armor. We'll see you guys.